Quarter 3 has just ended, and now we can tally up the sales of all the automakers, how they're doing. Toyota, we have Honda, we have Mazda, Nissan, Subaru, all the major imported brands, I guess you could say, from Asia. They communicate their sales results very easily and straightforwardly, so we're going to break those down today. If you're wondering where I am in a hotel room in Utsunomiya, Japan. It's about an hour north via Shinkansen bullet train of Tokyo. And I'm here for Honda. Honda has brought me out to Japan to test out, and I maybe should get the Honda page up here. Honda has, I don't know if I can say what I'm doing here exactly. That might be under embargo, but I'm here to test some things out, and I'm excited to share that with you. And make sure to stay at the end because I'll give you guys a little sneak peek of what I've been doing in Japan. It's been pretty exciting. I've been spy shotting some pretty sick, amazing cars from a ton of different brands, honestly. So stay to the end. I'll also give you a little slice of life of me doing some Skytree, Akihabara, like some real geeky stuff as well. So I'll see you guys at the end for that. Make sure to stay tuned to the end. If you guys are excited to break down the sales, see what's hot, see what's not of Q3 2024, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe for more updates. Let's start with automotive news. They're going to give us the score sheet, and then we'll go to each individual brand and break them down one by one. Keep in mind, just about everybody is down, at least on the month of September, due to a lot of different reasons. I mean, the hurricane at the end of September, Hurricane Helene blazing through Southeast America had a huge impact on most of these manufacturers. So keep that in mind. But let's just go to the score sheet, and then we'll go to individual automakers because this is interesting. So out of General Motors, Chevy's the only one that is down. Check this out. GMC up 6%, Chevy down 6%, Cadillac up 4%, Buick up about 8% on the quarter. All right, so Buick doing the best out of the GM brands. But overall, since Chevy's down and their pickup trucks are down, they're down about 1.9%. Let's see if I can make this bigger. There we go. That might be easier to see for you guys. Acura and Honda's next to stomp on the list. Honda is up quite a bit on the year. They're up on the quarter, but September was down for them. Civic, CRV, we'll get into that more in here in a little bit. Acura down 10% on the quarter, but the month of September was worse than 10% for Acura, the performance division of Honda. If we go year over year, Acura down 12% as well. Genesis doing okay. They're growing slightly here in North America. Hyundai, parent brand of Genesis, of course, the mass market brand, doing okay, up 5% on the quarter. Kia, though, for some reason, Kia compared to Hyundai is not doing as hot. Up 6% or down 6% on the quarter, down 3% on the year. Now, Kia's doing really well on the electrified end of things, as well as most of these companies. Big EV sales compared to the past, as well as big hybrid sales. All right, Mazda up 25% on the quarter. Now, that seems to be slowing down because the last month, end of August, they were up like 34% or something. So things are slowing down for them seemingly. They're up 15% on the year, but they're still a standout here on this list. Subaru up 5% on the quarter, up 5% on the year. They're tracking up 5% on the year. Lexus, even though Lexus was down for the month of September, snapping, it was like a year and a half of gains month over month. That snapped in September, but their quarter's still up 8%. They're up 11% on the year. Toyota down 10%. Now, keep in mind, they still have a stop sale on that Grand Highlander and Lexus TX. But Toyota up on the year, but don't know if they're going to, or how much they'll be up year over year by the end of Q4. All right, so let's get right into Toyota's. I mean, they have so much information here. I guess we'll read the bullet points and then we'll get right into the nerdy stuff. All right. September electrified sales consisting of hybrids, plug-in hybrids, EVs, and fuel cells exceeds 48% of total sales volume. I've been tallying this up. By the end of next year, Toyota should be like at 60% potentially of total sales volume being electrified here in the United States. It just depends on how much the RAV4 goes electrified and how soon. All right. The next gen RAV4 could be on sale by the end of next year. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's delayed at this point. Like the 4Runner's been delayed for many years. All right. Lexus records its best ever sales result in its 35-year history through the third quarter, even though September was down for them. Toyota remains the industry's #1 retail brand through the 9-month period. Retail means they're selling to actual people and not commercial fleets or anything like that, not rental fleets. All right, so let's get into the numbers. Corolla down 20. Oh man, let's look at volume though. Corolla down 30% on the month of September. It's still up 7% on the year, but again, we don't know how long this dip is going to last for the Corolla. Make sure to check out my reviews on the base Corolla LE Hybrid. It's a lot of fun testing that vehicle, I think I got 58 miles per gallon on it. So check out those reviews. All right, Supra, well, it's niche-y right now, and I can't believe it's actually up on the year, the Supra, but yeah, it's an outlier. Same thing with the GR86. GR86 down about 50% on the month, still up 10% on the year. Crown, I've been seeing a lot of Crowns here in Japan. Mainly Crown Sports. I've seen some Crown crossovers is what they call the sedan that we get here stateside. I haven't seen any Signias or Estates, and I haven't seen any of the real Crown sedan rear-wheel drive model other than the older ones. Okay, anyways, you guys know how much I love the Crown lineup. All right, Prius. Oh, I just skipped the Crown. Minus 60%. What the heck? Crown down 66%. Now, the Signia, just the volume probably isn't there. Maybe they reduced the volume on the sedan that we get, and the influx of the Estate / Signia hasn't filled in quite yet, would be my guess. But up 33% on the year. Prius is back. Finally, it's back. The Prius is up 21%. You got to keep in mind the Prius was on a stop sale like the Grand Highlander because of a recall and a stop sale because of the door handle issues on it. All right, up 2% on the year, but the Prius should be selling much, much higher volumes at 28,000. It's barely outselling the Crown, and we know the Prius is a much more desirable vehicle than the Crown. Let's get into Toyota crossovers, and we'll circle back to Lexus here in a second. All right, BZ4X, up 109% on the year, only up 12% on the month. They've sold about 13,000 BZ4Xs so far this year. It's a great city car like most EVs. Outside of that, you're going to be, you shouldn't be buying the car. All right, RAV4. Gosh, look at the RAV4 volume. They could break an all-time record for RAV4 volume, but it's headed in the wrong direction. It's down 18% on the month, but it's up 16% on the year. But 350,000 RAV4s. The volume there is just staggering. Corolla Cross. I've seen maybe one Corolla Cross since I've been here in Japan. I've seen a lot more Yaris Crosses. Man, I wish we had the Yaris Cross here stateside. We need more affordable vehicles. Anyways, Corolla Cross down 10% on the month, up 38% on the year, as it's made in Alabama alongside of Mazda CX-50. Venza, rest in peace. Been seeing some Harriers here in Japan. Makes me a little teary-eyed because I wish the Venza carried on. I think the Venza is still... it's just a really good buy compared to like an NX or an RX and similar quality. All right, it's up 35% on the year, Venza. See if you can snap one up before they're all gone. All right, Highlander down 46% on the month, down 44% on the year. Why? Because, Indiana's like, hey, we got this new Grand Highlander. And little did they know Grand Highlander would hit stop sale, and very little volume is pumping out of that Indiana plant, either the East or the West right now. All right, I think the West is not doing anything right now. I could be wrong with the Grand Highlander and the TX. The East plant does the Highlander and the Sienna. All right, Grand Highlander down 100%, right? We know because of the stop sale. Year over year, though, it's up, but yeah, we don't know what the situation is and how fast they can get that model out. 4Runner down 52%. You got to keep in mind they're switching things over here in Japan for the 4Runner next generation to come out. What is it? 6th generation? I don't know. Like, snap up a 5th gen 4Runner while you can. If they're still out there on the lots, it's up 3% on the year, despite it tanking right now as they switch over production soon. Sequoia down 13% on the month, up 22% on the year to Lexus cars. I saw an IS hybrid cab yesterday in Akihabara, which is pretty amazing. But the IS is down 16% on the year, 38% on the month. It's going in the wrong direction. RC, it's kind of a niche vehicle within the Lexus lineup right now, massively down, just like the IS. ES massively down. We need that next gen ES as soon as possible, coming out of Japan as they stop production on it in Kentucky. But that won't happen for about a year from now, maybe a little bit less than a year from now. But we need that next generation ES, where we're supposed to be getting the 5th gen hybrid system, all-wheel drive for that hybrid, discontinuation of the V6 in theory, and we'll be getting fully electric ESs. Can't imagine how smooth that would be. All right, so overall the ES is up 4% on the year. Lexus LS, well, again, LS is, I think it's on the chopping block in the near future. I think when the new ES comes, it's going to try to take LS, GS, and rest in peace, old Avalon sales. It's going to try to do it all. With electrification, it can do it all in terms of like performance, in terms of acceleration. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Lexus does with the LS. LC, I saw an LC here in Japan, white one, and down 42% on the month. Don't know what's happening here, because the LC should be I mean, selling at a high. Don't know why it's down so much. It's down on the year. The LC is still one of the best vehicles money can buy in the market. All right, watch my review on it. Brought me to tears. Got the feels going. And let's go to the Lexus crossovers. UX down 26%. It's a terrible buy. Down 51% on the month, but down nearly 30% on the year. It's a terrible buy. It just got recently refreshed about 2 years ago. It's hybrid only now, which should have been hybrid only from the start when they introduced it in 2018 or so, maybe 2019. The UX is really small. It's kind of ugly, and it's too expensive. I'd rather have a Corolla Cross or a Prius or a lot of other vehicles in the Toyota and Lexus lineup if I'm spending over $40K on that compromised hybrid. Anyways, I roast the UX all the time. It's not a bad car. It's just badly priced. All right. NX up 3.5% on the year, down 18% on the month. Yikes. What is happening? All these negative territories for Toyota and Lexus. I mean, as a total, they were down 20% on the month. They're still positive on the year, but holy cow. Again, less selling days, 23 selling days. That is going to play a big role in why all these companies are down. But when we're seeing minuses of 40%, things like that, that's not because of a shortage of selling days. It's a shortage of selling days plus natural disasters, things like that, as well. Stop sales. All this stuff adds up. And it's not helping the consumer, because we should be getting better deals on Toyotas right now. But since, again, production volume is down, it's not helping supply and demand. Demand still remains high. So getting good deals on Toyotas and all these other models still might not be as good as it should be. All right. Anyways, NX down 18% on the month. RZ, again, like the BZ4X, it's incredible for a city car, but outside of that, it's a waste of money. Lexus RX minus 8%. I've seen a few new RXs here. What are we on? Fifth generation RX? 5th generation RX now? I've seen a few of them here in Japan. Anyways, TX rip right now. GX up 3% on the month, down 3% on the year. As the new model comes in, they could be selling a lot more than this. I think a lot of people, since the Land Cruiser is close in price to it, and the Land Cruiser is hybrid only, and it's a 4-cylinder, that is deterring some people to go straight to Lexus with a twin turbo V6. And the GX is it's quite good, as you guys know. I mean, it looks amazing. It's not like the old GX. I'm going to get off here, but it's not like the old GX at all. In fact, the ride quality on the base Land Cruiser 1958 is more similar to the old GX 460 compared to the new GX. Anyways, Lexus LX, well, there's a hybrid coming for it. Should have the 3.5 twin turbo V6 hybrid from the Tundra, the Sequoia, but should have launched with that. Instead, it's delayed years. But the LX is pretty much pointless in my opinion, because the GX looks better and does pretty much everything better from a tech and features standpoint. So there you have it. And it costs less, the GX. So let's move on to good old Honda. Again, Honda brought me out. So stay tuned for some like very exclusive access. I think I'm one of the few YouTubers here on this event, maybe the only like US based YouTuber for Honda here. So I'm very, very grateful for this unique experience and to test out some new stuff for Honda. So American Honda posts strong sales despite supply and weather issues. Remember, 3 less selling days compared to last year. So, I mean, there's going to be some highlights here. The new Civic Hybrid's fantastic. Watch my driving impressions in Tennessee with that vehicle. And check out my review of the Prologue, which is a very, very average EV with really good looks and an annoying pedestrian warning noise. Okay, so let's move on. I could do some highlights here, but we'd be here all day. Again, total Honda. If we go to total car sales, total truck sales, American Honda total down 8% on the month. Again, a few less selling days, but despite that, the DSR daily selling rate was up for them, 3%. Year-over-year change, though, is still up 8% on a volume basis. All right, let's get into the Accord. We know the Accord is sharing production lines with the Integra, with the TLX. So volume's down right now as they rework the Ohio, one of the Ohio plants in order to have a flex line. They got rid of line 2. Everything's going into line 1 where they can make EVs, hybrids, and gas cars all in the same line and be very flexible. All right, so that's all going on. That's going to hurt the Accord. So it's not even worth talking about. And Civic down 15%. Remember, the new one, we might have had a shortage in supply when they switched over to the 2025 model. And they're working on hybrid production on the Civic, which it is a fantastic hybrid. Yeah, watch my driving impressions on it. All right, Civic up 28% on the year. Big volume from the Civic. CR-V, almost 300,000 sales, not quite as high as Toyota's RAV4, which is around 350,000 at this point in the year, but still selling at a huge clip here. Up 13% for the year, but down 15% on the month. HRV even down 15% on the month, but the HRV still up 32% on the year. If they had a hybrid on it, I can't imagine and if they made the front end look a little bit better, HRV could be selling like hotcakes, even more so if it had a hybrid on it. Odyssey up 5% on the year, up 3% on the month. Keep in mind, I have a 25 slightly refreshed Honda Odyssey for 6 months waiting at home for me and my family. My wife's been driving it this week while I've been here taking the kids to school, and she loves it. All right, of course. I mean, we have a 2013 minivan, so her trying out the new Odyssey, I mean, gosh, there's a lot of nice features about it. So stay tuned for my long-term review of the new Odyssey. Passport down 42%. Why? There's a new Passport coming out by the end of this year, or at least revealed by the end of this year. All right, down 28% on the year. Pilot up 62% on the month. We haven't seen anything crazy like this so far yet. Up 25% on the year. So yeah, holy cow, that's impressive. Prologue selling some units here, 14,000, similar to what like the BZ4X is selling, if I remember right, 14,000 on the year. Ridgeline, watch out my review with the Ridgeline. I was able to get the Grom in the back of it, down about 3% on the month, down 16% on the year. Wish there was a hybrid on Honda's large platform vehicles. I'm going to keep beating a dead horse until Honda brings out a large platform hybrid for the Odyssey, the Passport, the Pilot, and the Ridgeline. I feel like I'm turning into a skeleton waiting for their hybrids on their larger vehicles. Oh, they also have some memos here. I love this. This is the first time Honda is finally have broken out hybrid numbers for their hybrid available models. The Accord, again, Accord production down at the Ohio plant. All right, Civic though, nothing to compare to, but there's 5,000 happy customers driving Civic hybrids right now. CRV, check this out. Literally 298,000 CRVs sold in the month. 145,000 are hybrids. So it's like split right down the middle that are hybrids for the CRV. So I think they've hit critical, I don't know if that's the right word, critical mass here, but they've hit peak hybrid volume here, it seems like. All right, with 145,000 CRV hybrids. The CRV hybrid is just like the Accord hybrid. It's the only way you would get those vehicles because the turbo and CVT combo on the lesser expensive models is just not very good. Their hybrids are fantastic. All right, and the Prologue, we already talked about that. So let's get into some Acura here. ILX, rest in peace. Integra, minus 45% on the month. Yikes. Again, split production in Ohio with the Accord and the TLX there. So that's what's going on. It's down 23% on the year. NSX, rest in peace. TLX, minus 55% on the month and on the year. What are you going to do? MDX, minus 25%. There's no, maybe there's some supply chain issues going on with the MDX and some of these other Hondas, but yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow there. It's down 18% on the year. RDX down 15% on the month. This has been the one model that's been very successful for Acura this year. You can see it's up 18%, but it's heading in the wrong direction, down 15%. So Honda still strong on the year. This month was rough for them. All right, so let's get into Mazda. Mazda on record pace to smash all-time sales record here in the United States and in North America. Their September was still up 6%, year-to-date up 15%, but on a DSR basis, they were up 20% for the month of September. Second best September ever, best ever sales of the CX-70. It's the only month that the CX-70 has been available. It drives me crazy when manufacturers do stuff like that. Best September sales for the CX-50. The CX-50 has had good production volume this year, and that's helped out Mazda massively. Best September sales of the CX-90 as well. All right, so let's get into the tally sheet. The Mazda 3 is back, guys. Mazda 3 is back. It's up 20% on the year. They focus on DSR on the right. So DSR is good for Mazda right now and not so good for overall volume for the month, but that is the same for everyone. Volume's not been good for everyone, but Mazda is outside of the norm right now by having a really high daily selling rate, which is DSR. All right, so year over year, Mazda 3 looking good, 20% up. MX-5 Miata, I don't know what's going on with the Miata. Sales have been down all year on it. It kind of makes me sad. CX-30 up 24% on the year and not doing that great on the month, down 6% on the month. More actually, technically 17% from a volume. CX-5 has been down all year. Don't know why. All CX-5s come from Japan. It's down 10% on the year. Maybe it's because they don't need to ship as many in with the huge boost in volume from the CX-50, which is in the same class. It's so strange. Mazda has two cars in the same class. CX-50 up 93% from a volume basis, up 85% on the year. So any lack of CX-5 volume, people will just get the CX-50. I prefer the CX-5. I've said that a million times. Here we go with the CX-70 volume here. CX-90 volume up 123% on the year, down 10% on the month, but it was positive on a DSR. One of my friends here, back home, his family just picked up a CX-90 inline 6 turbo. So I'm a little jealous, and I hope they're really enjoying that 3-row family SUV that has the spirit of a little MX-5 Miata. All right, so the cars are up on a DSR basis. Their SUVs are up on a DSR basis. Mazda is a shining example right now. For how long, I don't know. They're spending a lot of money on advertising and incentives to get that volume up. All right, Nissan. Nissan, I know they're not doing that hot, but there are some positive things in the near term that's going to help them. On the Infiniti side, you have the QX80. It's pretty darn good. It's just very expensive. Then you have the more affordable option, the Armada, coming out this year, as well as the new Murano, which hasn't even been revealed yet. All right, so stay tuned for all that good stuff. I won't be driving all of them at press events this year because of conflicting schedule issues, but I hope to drive the Armada very soon in the press fleet, for example. All right, so we have quarterly volume, we have a change in volume, and then we have calendar year volume here at the top. So let's get into it. People need cheap cars. The Versa is one of the last few cheap cars out there. Its time is limited. The Versa is probably going to get killed here in the very near future. Same with the Altima, and the Sentra is going to go forward as the only Nissan sedan in North America until they come out with an EV, if and when that will happen. All right, so Versa up massively this year. That's great to see. People need more affordable cars. Good to see the Versa volume just slaying it. Up about 70% on the quarter, and up about 64% on the year. Sentra, you can find some really good deals on Sentras right now as well. Up 12% on a DSR, up about 10% on the quarter, up 40% on the year. Altima is suffering as most larger sedans are. Did I even go over Camry with Toyota? Do I need to backtrack? Did I just skip the Camry? How did I do that? I think I did. Yeah, well, maybe it's because it doesn't stick out to me. But Camry selling huge volume, all hybrid now, up 4.4% despite it all being hybrid. Check out my Camry LE driving impressions, XSE driving impressions. Gosh, it's a really good car. All right, back to Nissan here. Maxima, rest in peace. I don't know why that's still in here, because they still sold some Maximas this past quarter. That's why it's still in there. Holy cow. All right, 108 Maximas. Nissan Leaf, its time is limited here. It's up 30% on the year, but it's about ready to get canceled. Juke, rest in peace. Again, just get this off the list. It reminds me of the Xterra. They keep the Xterra on here, and then we're suffering because we wish we had an Xterra with a big fat V6. Luckily, to an extent, the the Passport from Honda with the V6 coming out soon will kind of fill in the void of the Xterra, but it's not body on frame. To be a true competitor to the 4Runner, the Xterra needs to be in the market, and it's a huge failure from Nissan not having it, nor having hybrids, which is crushing them. All right, Nissan Z, one of the best Nissans you can buy. Nissan GTR, it's very expensive, but also one of the best Nissans you can buy. It's your last chance because they just discontinued it. Rest in peace, Godzilla. Oh man, that's tough to say, especially here in Japan. All right, Nissan Kicks, up 4%. New Kicks is out on the market. Try to snap one up. Frontier, up 25%. Great deals to be had on the Frontier. I would pick it over the Tacoma. I like the V6 in here. I like the old hydraulic steering. The ride quality is fantastic on the Frontier. I really enjoy it. Nissan Titan, rest in peace, but you can still buy them as production is either stopped or it's stopping next year sometime. Anyways, it's hard to keep track. I saw a Nissan Titan XD flatbed towing an additional Nissan Titan. So that guy probably is a big Titan fan, drove down across the state with a trailer and flatbedded another Nissan Titan back home. He probably got a screaming deal on it. So I thought that was amusing. That was on my way to the airport, I think. Titan is, Titan down. Pathfinder up 45% on the quarter, up 4% on the year. Pathfinder is Nissan's It's fantastic. I love the Armada too, with the old V8 in there. So try to snap one up if you can. It's like your last chance at old school body on frame. Same thing with the 4Runner, right? Until that gets the next generation. Now everything's getting twin turbo V6s or turbo 4 cylinders. Armada, before it gets redesigned here at the end of this year, is it's your last chance at that 5.6 liter V8 and hydraulic steering, all that goodness. Rogue, down 10% on the year, down 22% or 24% on the month. Rogue, I know it's tough to see because they should be selling a lot more of this vehicle. It looks great. It drives fine. It has good features. It's just that CVT, 3-cylinder turbo. That's okay for some of the volume, just like Honda's 1.5 turbo with the CVT is okay for some of the volume. But Honda's hybrid is so good that if you want a hybrid, you just get that. And availability is pretty good on that CR-V hybrid. Availability on the RAV4. Did I even go over the hybrid sales for the RAV4? I don't think I did. I didn't get down to the next sheet here. But the RAV4 hybrid, for example, is up 47% on the year. The RAV4 is slightly edging out the CR-V in hybrids for was technically the compact crossover market, even though they're all huge now. So yeah, tons of hybrids are selling at a high clip, not for Nissan, but for the Koreans and for the other Japanese automakers, not including Subaru, not including Mazda, but those other two Japanese automakers will have hybrids by the end of next year, and we'll be waiting till like 2027 to get a hybrid with Nissan. Yikes. Anyways, but they have EVs if you want them. Anyways, all right. Aria, there's your EV. It's up 53% on the year. I'm sure they're losing money on it, as most manufacturers are sadly losing money on EVs. There's just so much competition in the EV market here in the United States right now. And yeah, they're expensive and they have to subsidize them to move them. Great lease deals though. Crazy lease deals on EVs if you can use one for your daily life, okay, as a city car. Nissan Murano, yeah, it's getting a redesign. It's still up on the quarter though. So let's get into Infiniti. We know Nissan's not doing great, right? Nissan's down overall just slightly. Again, down about 1% on the quarter, but they're up 1.7% on the year for Nissan. All right, but as we get to Infiniti, it's typically a bloodbath the last 5 years. Since 2017, I think it's been a bloodbath for Infiniti. The new QX80 is out. It's good. It's not going to save the brand, I don't think. What do they have coming next, right? Maybe a QX 5065 or something to be like an RX competitor, but without hybrids or fully electric. I don't know. And it has a CVT. All right. Unless they get rid of it. Infiniti down 12% on the year. I thought it was going to be worse than this, but they can only fall so far. And down 12% on the quarter. Q50, rest in peace. The Skyline's dead. Q60, the Coupe Skyline, rest in peace. QX50, it's doing okay actually. Up 15% and up 10% on the year. QX55, not doing hot. Down 32% on the year. QX60, they just replaced the V6 in it with the VC turbo. It went from a car to buy to a car to lease. Like that. There you have it. The VC turbo is a good engine. I wouldn't want to own it long term because of its storied history as being unreliable. So lease the QX60 now. The QX80, well, it should probably, if you can get a good lease deal on it. It's just that I think the Escalade's a lot better than the QX80 and it has a V8 still. So I would rather have a Lexus GX over the QX80. I like the styling of the GX a little bit better. The QX80 is still a little bit bigger than like the GX. I'm not comparing to the LX. The LX is dead for me. The QX80 is much better than the LX, but the GX isn't as luxurious as a QX80, but it has so much personality, and the QX80 it's okay. It's fine. It's just really expensive. All right, so Infiniti overall, not doing as bad as I thought, but again, they can only fall so far, down 12% on the year. QX80 is not going to be enough to save the luxury brand of Nissan. What do I mean by save? I don't, like, their sales have plummeted so far. I don't know. Like, and their dealers are starving, right? Their dealers are losing money, a lot of them. Same thing with Nissan dealers. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to Infiniti. I wouldn't give them, if they do go down, it's going to be the next 5 years. All right, Subaru of America reports September sales, 26 consecutive months of yearly month-over-month growth. So Subaru is an outlier here, kind of like Mazda. Best ever September for the Crosstrek. So the Crosstrek is going to probably reclaim its title for the best-selling Subaru. It did that, I think, a couple years back. It kicked to the curb the Forester and the Outback for best-selling. So if we look at Forester right now, up 22% on the year. Yes, it's still not keeping up with the Crosstrek because the Forester is going in the other direction with the new generation. Not sure why. I think it's because we know Forester production is going to be split between Japan and the Indiana plant. And so maybe they're trying to get production up for the Forester here in North America. Crosstrek up, though, 25% on the month, up 15% on the year. Crosstrek, it's the most affordable Subaru, crossover. It's good, assuming you don't need to get anywhere fast because it's incredibly slow, right? Like most Subarus. The Ascent, down 9%, up 26% on the month, but down 9% on the year. The Ascent, I could name probably 8 other crossovers I'd rather have than the Ascent in the same segment. Ascent could get replaced with the BEV variant coming out of Kentucky for Toyota's plant. So anyways, that's going to happen at some point. Forrest already talked about that. Impreza, I wouldn't be surprised if the Impreza gets killed following the Legacy, right? The Legacy's done. This is the last year of the Legacy. I wouldn't be surprised if the Impreza gets killed too. Remember, they killed the sedan. There's only a hatchback available now. There's no manual on it. There's no turbo on it. Other than the WRX, but that's its own model now, right? But the WRX, I mean, look how bad the Legacy, the Impreza, and the WRX are all doing. They're all down double digits. I think Subaru is just going to be a crossover brand. It pains me to say it, but, oh man, I saw a Levorg STI this week. Oh my gosh. Oh, if we got that vehicle, they could replace the WRX. They could replace the Impreza and the Legacy, bring in the Levorg wagon, offer it in an STI variant with a manual or optional manual. My gosh, Subaru fans would be losing their minds if the Levorg was available in North America, replacing Impreza, the Legacy, and the WRX with one model. Oh my God, I'm getting ahead of myself. It's because I'm in Japan and I'm seeing Levorgs with hood scoops and dual exhaust and stuff. So anyway, Subaru doing really, really well. Even the Solterra doing well. The Outback doing okay. The Outback's, kind of neutral on the year. Subaru, yeah, just barely. Look at this. They can claim this 26 months of consecutive growth. They can claim that because they're up 0.1% on the month of September, up 6% on the year if you round up. Mitsubishi, year-to-date sales up 22%. The best Mitsubishi out there right now is the Outlander plug-in hybrid, easily. All right, it is the most expensive Mitsubishi, but if you can get a good deal on one, it's a really good hybrid system, especially if you keep it plugged in. It's not a very good hybrid in its own right. It's not very efficient and it's laggy, but when that sucker is plugged in, it's a very, very nice plug-in hybrid. For in and around town, and then you have the hybrid powertrain for the longer trips. It's just not as fun to drive when it's in hybrid mode. But the Mirage, rest in peace. Mirage is up double this year. Mitsubishi knows that people need cheap cars right now, and they've doubled the sales volume. That's why Mitsubishi's up right now, up 22%, because they're pumping up that Mirage. They're importing it, I believe, from Thailand. It gets killed, I think, next year, like next summer, 2025. It's really sad. We need a new Outlander Sport. We need a new Eclipse Cross. Despite that, they're doing okay. The Eclipse Cross is up on the year, up on the quarter. Outlander Sport is up on the quarter, slightly down on the year. So, wow, Mitsubishi's doing better than I thought. But again, they can only fall so far. They don't have any fun cars left. They don't have any Evos. They don't have any Lancers. They don't have any 3000 GTs. They don't have any Eclipses. Like, Mitsubishi's a shell of its former self. And there's only like one vehicle I can recommend. And maybe two, the Mirage. Yeah, I can't even recommend the Mirage. You know why? Because it is so unsafely slow for the money that you can just buy a used car and have double the horsepower, triple the horsepower, quadruple the horsepower for the same money you're spending on a Mirage as you would on a used car. So Mirage, I think, is when people want a new car and they want something cheap, still have a new car, they get the Mirage. All right, Mitsubishi doing okay. Hyundai, best ever Q3 retail sales, up 5% year over year. Ioniq 5, we got the refresh coming out with the new rear wiper in the back, slightly more battery capacity. Hybrid sales up 36% in September. Their hybrids are pretty darn good. Santa Fe hybrids up 87%. That's the only way I can recommend the new Santa Fe. It's more responsive than the more powerful turbo 2.5 model. Maybe not quite as fast, but it's more responsive and it just drives better. It's less laggy. Tucson hybrid up 52%. Check out my driving impressions on the refresh Tucson hybrid. Palisades up 9%. Can you imagine if the Palisade had a hybrid? What would be going on? It would just be selling even faster. Okay, hybrid vehicles up 36%. All right, the Elantra here, down 5% on the year, but it's having a heck of a finish of the year with a refresh. Ioniq 5, up 20% on the year, but it's heading the wrong direction, down 16%. We have a new Ioniq 5 refresh coming out, and production is switching over to an extent to America. So I think that could be why there's a dip here. Ioniq 6, it's an EV sedan that looks funny, and sedans, aren't doing well. EV sedan, look at the Model 3, that's not even doing that great. So yeah, the Ioniq 6, it's a good car. Lease it if you can accept the looks of it. Kona, up 14% on the year, down 23% on the month. It's heading in the wrong direction. That's not good. And it's still strange that Hyundai did not bring a hybrid to the Kona, yet offer a fully electric. It's fine. The electric Kona is the best Kona that I've driven, but the market wants hybrids right now, and meanwhile, the Corolla Cross is the only hybrid in this segment. Palisade, up 39% on the year, still guns blazing, up 9% on the month, up 44% on the quarter. Imagine if they had a hybrid version of that. Santa Cruz down 13%. Just reviewed the 25 and the 24 Santa Cruz. Check out those driving impressions. Again, no hybrid here. The Ford Maverick's licking its chops. Santa Fe. Well, we know the Santa Fe hybrid's up like almost 90%. And the production volume here is down quite a bit. I think if I were to guess, I've heard issues with the transmission on the non-hybrids, so maybe they're limiting production on those, trying to figure out the issues with the 8-speed, and maybe pumping up the hybrid volume. Not quite sure what's going on with the Santa Fe. I like it a lot, the new Santa Fe hybrid especially. Sonata up 30% on the year. Long live the sedans, right? Wow, why is the Sonata doing so well? I don't know, but it's killing it. Tucson down 5% on the year. This is like the CR-V to them, right? It's like the RAV4 to them. The hybrid sales are up massively, and the hybrid is really, really good on it. I would pick it over the non-hybrid models, of course. And I think there's still a plug-in hybrid on the Tucson. I wouldn't buy it. It's too expensive. it doesn't offer enough range nor enough power for a plug-in hybrid. So not a big fan of Hyundai's plug-in hybrids, but they're massively re-engineering their next generation plug-in hybrids to be more of an ERAV electric range extender. And we'll first see that, I believe, on the Santa Fe as well as the GV70 from Genesis. So there you have it. Can't wait for those new plug-in hybrids to come. Hyundai Venue. Well, I think it's canceled or will be canceled in North America soon. It's kind of sad. We need cheap cars right now, but the volume's down on it this year. So let's go and finish up with Kia here. Kia does not give us percentages. They're the only automaker that doesn't do that. I could make my own spreadsheet and come up with some percentages for you guys, but I mean, no, I'm not doing that. EV9 has sold about 16,000 units so far this year. I've heard really good things about it. I would love to test one and try it out with the family. Could be an absolute assassin for a family in town. All right, EV6. You can get really good lease deals on the EV6 right now. Volume slightly up year over year. But look, just like the Ioniq 5, volumes down in the month of September. They're having to incentivize these vehicles quite heavily. And so that's great for the customer. If you want an EV, you get crazy lease deals on Hyundai's eGMP platform, and they're some of the best EVs on the market. Kia Rio, rest in peace. Sad to say, people need cheap cars. Look how well the Versa is doing. Look how well the Mirage is doing. Rio, rest in peace. Forte, well, also rest in peace. You see the volume going down here, still up year over year because I'm seeing new K4s on the road. New K4s are finally out. I can't wait to test them. I don't know if there's a hybrid coming for it. I don't remember. There's the hatchback coming for it, which looks amazing, but it could be nerfed due to the laggy software for emissions reasons. Even though it has a turbo, it might be just a bad experience. Like I've said with the Kona non-turbo CVT is a better driving experience than the turbo. I think the turbo also has an 8-speed auto in that vehicle or something. Anyways, K5, it's dying. It's only a matter of time before it's discontinued. I think the K5 is going to be killed in North America. Sonata will probably live on, or maybe not live on. That's been rumored to be killed too. But all these vehicles, the Rio, the Forte, the K5, all get put into the K4. That's how I see it. Stinger, rest in peace. Soul, I heard, is on the chopping block as well. The sales are down on it. Kia Niro. We need hybrids. It's still down on the year. Kia Niro is a fine vehicle if you can get it cheap enough. The hybrid on it it's really slow for a vehicle of its size, I guess you could say, compared to a Prius. But its volume here is about where the Prius volume is this year. Not sure why. It's a cool looking car. I like the looks of it anyways. Seltos, up on the year. A subcompact crossover, but it's heading in the wrong direction. It's down on the month. But again, Kia got hit really hard with the storm at the end of the month. So that is affecting their sales. Again, less selling days for the month of September. You got to keep that in mind. 3 less selling days for the month of September. All right. And despite that, the Sportage is doing well. It's up massively on the year. It's up about 11,000 units. Selling 118. This is their Tucson. This is their RAV4. This is their cash cow. I mean, look, the Forte has sold over 100,000 units. It's the only other model so far that sold over 100,000 units. The Telluride is close, and the Sorento is close too. These vehicles right here, this is why Kia is killing off the Soul. That's why they're killing off the K5. They're going to focus on their larger, more expensive vehicles. They can make a lot more money on them. That's what the market's asking for, seemingly. The Carnival, people need more minivans out there. I'm a big minivan proponent. So especially the new Carnival hybrid out there. Oof. I'd be picking that over the Santa Fe hybrid. It's the same hybrid setup. Anyways, yeah, good options from Kia here on their larger vehicles, and their smaller ones are dwindling into nothing. That's about it. That I've covered all the stuff I've wanted to here, and then some. I'm a bit winded. Thanks for staying to the end because we have some cool stuff. Like right when I got off the airplane, I got picked up in a BMW i7 executive, like in Japan, driving in a loaded BMW. Was not expecting that, but hey, Honda, thanks for sending me. I mean, Honda doesn't have, the Legend in production in Japan anymore, which is the Acura or RLX stateside. But anyways, got driven to the hotel in an i7. It was a great experience with the ventilated seats in the back. Anyways, didn't even leave the parking garage. I've seen Jimneys, seen all sorts of cool stuff. Crown Sport. Look at this. Toyota, insane for not giving it to us. Here's the Levorg STI. Oh man, it looks so good from the front too with the hood scoop. Oh, good times. All right, so this was Skytree. I'm a big fan of this anime as well. Jujutsu Kaisen. I've seen all the episodes. I really want to rewatch them. It's very beautifully drawn, extremely gory and violent, which most anime seems to be. So the entire of Skytree. What is Skytree? It's the second largest structure in the world. It's for digital TV communications. All right, so it's kind of like the tower that sends out the TV signals across Japan. And that's me taking selfies with Yuji, selfies with Japan down below. I can't tell you how many feet high I was. I think I was 400 some meters. So was that like 1,200 feet or something? There you go, 451 meters. I was at the highest point. Unbelievable. And then Honda brought us out to the largest Buddhist temple. I think it could be in Japan, but definitely in Tokyo. And it was beautiful learning about the religion, how it changes from Chinese Buddhism, how it changes from Indian Buddhism just a little bit. And the Buddhism architecture and religion is largely based off of the Chinese cultural Buddhism. This was brought into the country by the Chinese, like in the 6th century or something. All right. And I could go into big detail on what they were doing. Like, this is the big temple, what's inside. It's a small golden Buddha that was found in the river by fishermen, and that started converting the people there back in the day. All right. Anyways, this was me just outside of that area, outside the shopping area of the Buddhist temple, and Skytree in the background. So when I was taking those selfies, I was way up here. You see this kind of observation deck up here. There's 2 of them. And we went up to this top one. And I think there's also a restaurant up there on the top one, which is pretty cool. There's a gift shop for Jujutsu Kaisen too. Okay, Honda Fit. Here's a new Honda Fit. It pains me. It pains me deep inside that we don't have the Honda Fit anymore. And I think they have a Honda Fit hybrid in Europe. Oh, long live the Honda Fit. Alphards are everywhere here. Minivans and vans in general are the name of the game in Japan for moving people around. But look at this executive lounge edition of the Alphard E4. So it's all-wheel drive hybrid, quad tip exhaust. You see these quite often. Wrong way. Cute little Honda inbox. I will be going to Honda's, I think it's in Aoyama, their headquarters. Oh, and it's a little dented here. It still looks cute. So stay tuned for more Honda coverage. I saw Toyota Century. Seeing those guys. Long live the Century. I went to Akihabara, and that's kind of like the nerdy district, electronics, anime, all that cool subculture stuff. So I was buying some Pokemon stuff for the kids. Here's me in Akihabara. This is crazy. This tower has its own anime character, Amiko. So, I really want to go to Akihabara at night sometime. Maybe I can make it happen. This is my first ride on the Shinkansen, the bullet train that we took here a couple hours north of Tokyo. And then on the bullet train, Mount Fuji crested with some clouds in the background. Last night we had some steak at a barbecue steakhouse, Japanese style. I'm hungry again, so I want to go eat it. And that's where it ends. That's kind of gets you caught up We'll be driving to Motegi today or taking a train. I'm not quite sure. I'll figure it out. But we'll be getting to Motegi today. Again, headquarters for not Honda in general, but it's like headquarters for Honda's racing history. And it's kind of like a theme park for Honda. It's going to be insane. So stay tuned for all that coverage. Thank you guys for watching. This was a long one. It's going to take me a long time to edit this. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you haven't. And hopefully I made you hungry. Right there is, oh man, that cut was good. That was beef tongue. It's delicious. Thank you guys. Catch you in the next one. Peace.